Good morning, everyone. I am Bitishri Patel, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. Today, our subject is Geotechnical Engineering, and our topic is permeability of soil. So, let's start our today's class. First, permeability of soil. All of you know what is soil, how soil is formed, and today we have covered permeability of soil. So, what is permeable? What is permeability? Permeability is nothing but the rate of flow of water through soil body. Rate of flow of water through soil body is generally called permeability. Here, soil are permeable due to the existence of interconnected voids. Here, this is our soil mass, and the voids are interconnected, and voids are filled with either air or water. This is the soil mass. The circle shows the soil mass, and the gap is voids, and voids is either filled with water and filled with air. And this is our fine soil, and this is the coarse soil. So permeability means rate of flow of water through soil body, and there is another term comes seepage. Then what is seepage? Permeability is also flow of water through voids, and seepage also flow of water through voids. Then what is the difference between permeability and seepage? Because both are flow of water through voids. So permeability is the property. Permeability is the property, and seepage is the action. Permeability is the property which allows the water through soil body. And one of the most important consideration in soil mechanics is the effect of water in soil. That if we take fine soil and coarse soil. Fine soil, this is the fine soil, and this is the coarse soil. Coarse soil means large voids, and fine soil means less void. Less voids means flow of water will less, and large voids means flow of water is large. And most of the geotechnical engineering properties somehow have water associated with them in various ways. And permeability is one of the most important soil property of in geotechnical engineering, because it is a property where soil allows where water will allow to flow. And the basic application of permeability is rate of settlement, earth dam, stability of slope, and pumping seepage of water in construction excavation. Then, on our definition of permeability, this is soil mass. This is the void where water is flow. So permeability is a measure of a given porous medium ability to permit fluid flow through water air voids. Any material with voids is porous, and if the voids are interconnected, possesses permeability. So let's say permeability means flow of water through voids, but the voids should be interconnected to each other. If the voids is interconnected to each other, then the flow of water is laminar. Then the flow of water will be laminar. And if the voids are not interconnected, the flow of water will be less, and the voids and the interconnected voids are generally shown in coarse soil. Interconnected voids are generally shown in our coarse soil, and in our fine soil we can't see the interconnected voids. Therefore, rock, concrete, soil, and many engineering materials are both porous and permeable. where there is void, there will be permeable. If there is no voids, then there is no permeable occur. So next slides come from Darcy's law for flow through porous medium. Here, one scientist here, Darcy's one scientist, he he discovered that three type of flow. One is steady versus unsteady, second laminar versus turbulent, and third 1D, one dimensional versus three dimensional. In our discussion, we will cover only the laminar portion. We will cover only the laminar portion. Like this is our laminar flow. The water is flowing through the voids. This is laminar flow. Here comes the term seepage. As previous I have said, both permeable and seepage. Both are flow of water through voids, and permeability is the properties where rate of flow of water, where flowing of water through voids, and seepage is the action. Seepage is the action. Then a French engineer Darcy's in 1856 modified that the velocity of drainage drinking water flowing to a village named Dijon was proportionally to the difference in elevation between the water entry point and its discharge point. See, what Darcy's discovered that this is our porous media. This is a glass box which is filled with water. We have insert to piezometer. This is a one piezometer. This is one piezometer. This is the length of the soil mass. Here the box is filled with soil, and through this piezometer we allowed the water to flow through the piezometer and enter to the soil mass through the voids, and this is the discharge of water. This is the discharge of water. Here L is the distance. L is the distance over which the change or loss of head, and capital A is the cross sectional area of the soil mass. This is the cross sectional area of the soil mass. This is the total height in inlet, and this is the total height in outlet. So what is delta H here? Delta H is here head loss. Suppose this is A point, this is B point, and we know that water will always flow from high to low, and if there is no head, there is no permeable. If there is head losses occur, then permeable also occur. So we allow water from the A point through our piezometer. It enters to the soil, and from this voids in the soil, soil will absorb some amount of water, and the extra amount of water will flow up to here, and this is the discharge. So from this height, this is the inlet height, and this is the outlet height. So this difference is delta H. Delta H means head loss. This is V is equal to H by L. V is equal to, generally this is delta H. This is delta H by L. Here N is equal to discharge velocity, which is the quantity of water flowing in unit time through a unit cross-sectional area of soil at right angle to the direction of flow. Here then H is equal to, here delta H is equal to loss of head between 2 points, A points and B point. Delta S is equal to head loss of 2 point, A and B point. Next, capital L is equal to distance over which the change or loss of head occurred. L is the distance. This is the distance of the soil mass. This is the distance of the soil mass. This is the cross sectional area. So generally Darcy's law is denoted as Q. Q is equal to delta H by L. So the ratio H delta H by L is termed as hydraulic gradient. This ratio V, here we all of you see that this is the question mark. This is the question mark sign. V V is equal to delta H by L. Delta H, the head loss by L, and this head loss is generally termed as hydraulic gradient, which is denoted as small I. So delta H by L, we generally call this delta H by L is I, hydraulic gradient. So basically, what will we say? What is hydraulic gradient? Hydraulic gradient, loss of head between 2 points. It is the ratio between loss of head between 2 points to the distance over which the change or loss of head is occurred. I can repeat. Hydraulic gradient is the ratio of loss of head between 2 points to the distance over which the change or loss of head occurred. And the hydraulic gradient is denoted as small I. So V is basically this is directly proportional. This sign is directly proportional, is I. In our first equation, V is equal to delta H by L. Delta H by L. Or if suppose we have named this H1 and we have named this H2. The head inlet from A point is H1 and the head outlet from this B point is H2. So what is delta H? Delta H means H1 minus H2. I can write here H1 minus H2 by L. So this H1 minus H2 is equal to delta H by L. And this H1 minus H2 by L is denoted as, the whole term is denoted as small I. So this is directly proportional. V is directly proportional to I. So Darcy's introduced a constant of proportionality called the Darcy's coefficient of permeability. Darcy's coefficient of permeability K. Here we all know that V is directly proportional to I. So we have to omit this proportionality sign. Darcy's add a term K, which is coefficient of permeability. For coefficient of permeability, it is termed as K, to omit the sign of proportional. Then K is called simply hydraulic conductivity. Generally, we know K is equal to coefficient of permeability, and it is generally also called as hydraulic conductivity or coefficient of permeability, or even more simply, it is permeability. K is permeability, but otherwise it is called coefficient of permeability and hydraulic conductivity. These are the equation. This is the first equation. We know that V is equal to delta S by L. Then the second equation, we know V is directly proportional to I. And the third equation, we know V is equal to Ki. And K is coefficient of permeability. Next, equation 3. This is the final equation of Darcy's law. V is equal to Ki. The equation 3 is called Darcy's law. This is called Darcy's law. It was primarily based on the observation made by Darcy for flow of water through clean sand. This is the flow of water through clean sand. This is the sand. This is the water water comes through the porous medium, entered into the soil. The amount of words absorb water, and the next less amount of water. This is the extra amount of water, and this is the outlet. This is the cross sectional area. This is the total length. This is the head loss. This is A point. This is B point. Next, assumption of Darcy's law: soil should be homogeneous and isotropic. Soil will be fully saturated. And second, the flow should be laminar, no turbulent flow, and the flow is in steady state, no temporal variation. This is what is the graph indicate. What is the graph indicate? Suppose there, see, I have already said that if there is no head, there is no flow of water, there is no permeable. If suppose this is the box, and our soil box is like this, so there is no flow of water, how water will flow? In our straight condition, how water will flow? It can't flow. Suppose I have partially keep this box like this, then there is flow of water, so like this way we have taken all this point, from this to this. This is the laminar flow, of water, zone 1. That's why this is called laminar flow of water. This is zone 1, laminar flow zone. From this to this, the head will not occur, so this is the zone 2, transition zone. And from this to this this is zone 3, this is turbulent flow zone. The head is not occurred. So in most soil we found that the relation B is directly proportional to I. I have already said that P is directly proportional to I. This question mark shown, the question mark sign shown the proportional factor. And to omit the proportional factor, B is equal to Ki. From this, suppose A point will be high, then B point will be less. I mean to say, if our head loss is large, then our hydraulic gradient, this I hydraulic gradient will be large. So that's how this all this point will occur. From this to this is the laminar flow. From this to this is the transition zone, and from this to this point, this is turbulent flow zone. And B is directly proportional to I. This is the x-axis for hydraulic gradient. This is the y-axis. This is the velocity, because velocity is the function of I. B is directly proportional to I. This indicates that at high gradient the flow will be turbulent. In our high gradient the flow will be turbulent, and the relationship between B and I, the relationship between velocity and hydraulic gradient will not be laminar. If it will laminar, then the equation 2, B should not be directly proportional to I. If they are laminar, then V is directly proportional to I. This is the case in gravel. Because gravel or coarse sand, because gravels have more voids. More voids means more volume of voids. More volume of voids means rate of flow of water will be more. So this is only happened in gravel case. Gravel means coarse sand case. However, in most of soil, the flow of water through the voids can be considered laminar. Hence, equation 2 is valid. Now comes to next slide. Is Darcy's law valid for very low hydraulic gradient? Let's see. This is hydraulic gradient I, and this is our discharge velocity V. Discharge velocity means the water discharge velocity. So V is equal to Ki. See, let's see. I have already told that V is equal to Ki. This is V is equal to Ki. This is the laminar. This is the laminar. From this zone 1 factor will be shown here. Laminar means clay soil. We all know the clay soil. This is the hydraulic gradient and this is the discharge velocity. V is equal to Ki. The equation implies that for very low hydraulic gradient, the relationship between V and I is non-linear. Because here hydraulic gradient, because here head loss is low. If our head loss is low, then our hydraulic gradient will be low. So here our hydraulic gradient is shown very low. So the relationship between V and I is non-linear. So we know that V is equal to Ki. So V is equal to Ki. I mean Darcy's law is only valid even for very low hydraulic gradient. Darcy's law is valid for very low hydraulic gradient. So let's see. If A is our cross-sectional area through which flow is occurring and the flow rate Q is determined by Q is equal to Vi. I have already told Darcy's law. Q is equal to K I A. K I A. This is the V is equal to K I, and this is the area of cross sectional. So V is equal to Ki, and here Darcy's add another term A, cross sectional area of the soil. This is the equation 4. Q is equal to Kia, quantity of flow. The flow occurs over a period of time T. The total quantity of water Q flowing during this period can be found as Q is equal to capital Q. Here capital Q is equal to quantity of water at time T flowing during the period can be found as capital Q is equal to QT. QT, this Darcy's law. QT, that Q is equal to what is capital small q? Small q is equal to Kia. We have already known that. So Q is equal to, in terms of small q, we have right here KIAT. This is the another equation number 5. Here all terms in equation 5 are easily measured or determined except K. We can't measure K. This is K, coefficient of permeability. We can measure it. Next we will discuss technique in evaluating K. We have to teach another type of technique how to evaluate K. Here, to determine the quantity of flow, two parameters are needed. One K, what is hydraulic conductivity or coefficient of permeability. I, you all know that I is equal to hydraulic gradient. How large is driving head? I can be determined from the head loss and geometry, which is one-dimensional case. Second, flow net, two-dimensional case. And the K can be determined using laboratory testing, field testing, empirical equation. And this is the head or hydraulic gradient. This is the head or hydraulic gradient. And we know that according to Bernoulli's equation, the total energy available described as a measurable distance called head above a reference datum. Head, I have already seen you here. This is the head. This is the top head. This is the low head. Head means the flow of water, the length, the length where the flow of water will occur. This is the head. And H is equal to U by gamma W. This is pressure head. U by gamma W. This is pressure head. Generally, as per Bernoulli's equation, head is equal to pressure head plus velocity head plus elevation head. So, what is velocity head? Velocity is equal to v square by 2z, and elevation head, this is z. Elevation head, this is z. And what is elevation at sea? This is the this is our soil particles. This is the flowing of water, and this is the void portion. The water flow from high to low. The water flow from high to low, and this is the datum line. This is the datum line. So the distance between the void from the datum line, sorry, the distance between the void from the datum line is called as is called as is called as elevation head. From this to this is called as elevation head. So total head is equal to velocity head plus pressure head plus elevation head. So U by gamma W plus V square by 2Z plus Z, where S is equal to total head, U is equal to pressure, V is equal to velocity, Z is equal to acceleration due to gravity, gamma W we all know unit weight of water. Next, here this is our elevation head. This ZZ, ZB, ZA. This is the datum line. This is the flow of water through voids. So ZA and ZB, these two are elevation head. In soil, seepage velocity is normally very small. In soil, our seepage velocity is normally very small. That velocity head can be neglected. Here, where the soil seepage velocity is very small, so we neglect the velocity head. Uh, this is the pressure head. This is the total height HA. This is HB. This is delta H head loss. This is the water table present here. This is the cross sectional area. This is A point. This is B point. We have insert two piezometer here. Allow the water from A point and the excavation of water from B point up to here, up to this. So this is delta H. This is the head loss from high to low, and we ignore the velocity head point here, and this is the elevation at ZA and ZB. This is the length of the soil box. This is A point, this is B point. Here all the diagram should be described here. The pressure head at a point can be measured by inserting a piezometer tube into the pipe. This is the two piezometer tube. The level will rise to a level representing the current pressure head at that point. So the velocity head is 0. Next, so piezometric levels of head, delta S is equal to HA minus HB. This is delta H. Delta S is equal to HA minus HB. This is the flow of water. Delta H is equal to HA minus HB. So what is HA? HA, this is the value of HA, U by gamma W. We know that this is pressure head. Pressure head is equal to U by gamma W. So here is the pressure is UA. A means A point. So we denoted as UA by gamma W. UA by gamma W plus ZA ZA. So this is HA. HA is equal to E pressure head plus elevation head plus velocity head. But here velocity head can be neglected because seepage velocity is very small. So velocity head here is neglected. So our HA is equal to our pressure head plus elevation head. Pressure head plus elevation head minus HB UB by gamma W plus ZB. This is the loss of head point from A to B. The hydraulic gradient or head loss is as defined before. I is directly proportional to H by L. This is the total diagram. Tricky case. Remember, always look to total head. Always look to total head. This is the water level. This is the sign of water present here, and this is the sign water is present here. These are the two piezometer inserted in this box. This is the soil box from A point to B point, flowing of water. This is the length of water. ZA, ZB, the elevation head. This is the pressure head. This is the pressure, and this is the datum line. So another term I have shown you that let's see, determination of the coefficient of permeability. Coefficient of permeability can be determined in our laboratory, in our field, and from empirical relation, from consolidation test. But in laboratory, permeability test can be occurred in two types. One is constant head permeability test, another one is falling head permeability test. A device called a permeameter. The device is called permeameter, which is used in the laboratory in the terms of constant head permeability test and falling head permeability test. This is the proper setup of our constant head permeability. This is the box. This is the box here. This is another box here. This is the tap, and this is the outlet. This is the outlet of water from this box. The total volume of water collected can be expressed as Q is equal to AVT. We know that A is equal to our cross sectional area through soil specimen. V velocity, which Ki, and time T. That K is equal to QL by AHT. Here Q is equal to volume of water collected. A is our area of cross sectional of the soil specimen. T is equal to duration of water collection. Duration of water collection. Duration means the time taken by the time is taken. How much time? How much time will the water will take through passing from the void? This is small t. This is small t. The water used in the test should be de-aired. The test is more suitable for soil with high K. Generally constant head permeability test should be occurred in coarse sand like gravel, sand, and coarse silt. Constant head permeability will be occurred only in coarse sand. It can test in fine sand. It only tests in coarse sand. The test applies a constant head of a water to each end of the soil in permeameter like this. This is our sample. This is the soil sample. This is the coarse soil sample. This is the piezometer inserted here. Water will come from this soil. Water will enter to this piezometer pipe, and the amount of void the void is filled with water, and the rest amount of water will flow from this pipe and is collected here So this is our H. This is the standpipe. This is our H, H2, H1. So what is H, H2, H1 here? This is the first amount of water, which is H1. This is the amount of water which is H2, and H1, H2 is H. H1 minus H2 is H. Here the velocity of fall in the standpipe is V is directly proportional to dH by dt. B is directly proportional to ds by dt. The decreasing value of H, Ht, increases the falling head. Decreasing the falling head. Generally, Let's see. This is the constant head permeability. This is L. This is H. Constant head means why it is named as constant head? So why it is called a constant head permeability? Because your voids are very large. So the water will decrease. So the water will pass through the soil very easily. So the water will start continuously from this step. So this is called constant head test because water will constantly flow from this soil. So that's all for today. Next class we will start this falling head portion. Thank you.